Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Juan Cristales here again with Duplex Build It to Rent. We're going to be talking about all the inspections and stuff. We're at the sheetrock phase of this particular duplex that we're building here in Willis, Texas. I want to walk you through some of the inspection things because I think that is one of the most intimidating factors of a lot of new construction, new builders, is that they don't know the process. They don't know all the inspections that they have to do, and therefore they kind of just don't do it. And so I'm going to break it down for you very simple here. These are the inspections that need to happen. Now, you yourself as the builder, as the owner, don't need to be a super expert in all these things. You just need to be able to manage the team of people that actually get this stuff done. So I'm going to go through this real quick here. As you can see here, the form survey has already been completed, and we've already talked about that in some other videos. So I'm just going to go through here. So we got the plumbing ground, the pre-pour inspection has already been done, the vapor barrier, window flashing, the mechanical rough-in. On here I have master. These inspections are called in by that particular person who has a master license in air conditioning. Air conditioning and mechanical are the same thing, and that's what we're talking about there. Electrical rough-in, the master license electrician has to call that inspection in. We don't call it in, but they have to stand that inspection and pass that inspection. There's another inspection there. It's called the meter loop. So where the electricity connects to is going to connect to the actual power lines, that needs to be inspected as well. Then the plumbing master has to call in for a rough-in inspection as well. Again, these are two separate inspections here for the plumbing ground versus the plumbing rough-in. Next, we, as the owners or builders, we call in for the wind bracing. We call for the framing inspection. And then this termite treatment that I've showed you guys, there's the Boracare stuff that's already on there. You're going to see it here. That termite treatment stuff is not necessarily inspectionable, but we do have to provide documentation to the city showing proof that it was done. And then, of course, we document it with pictures so that they can see that it's been done 36 inches from the ground up, that has been treated for termites. Then after that, we have to do the insulation inspection, which we already passed, and then the firewall inspection, which we just passed. And now we're moving on to the sheetrock phase. So after the sheetrock phase, there's not any other inspections really until the very, very end. So now that everything's been inspected and the sheetrock's been done, we are now at a point where we're going to be just covering everything up, getting everything done. The doors, the cabinets, all the tile work, all the toilet, everything has to be done. And then at the very, very end, then we'll do the final mechanical inspection, the final electrical, the final plumbing. And again, these are the responsibilities of those master licensed people to do those things. This one, 16 and 17, are going to be my responsibility to get done. So we'll get those done once we get closer to that. And let me just walk you here through the rest of this stuff. Now, I know that this picture looks a little bit crazy to you guys. You're like, what am I looking at, Juan? But let me just show you real quick because I think it's important to point out some of these things. As you build and you start looking through some of this stuff, you'll notice some issues that may come up. So the guys that were working on the firewall here accidentally stepped on this tube. You see how this tube is disconnected and it's broken right there? And I can zoom in a little bit more for you so you guys can take a better look. But I saw this, and now we are going to try to get this fixed. And the reason why I want to get it fixed now is because, like I just told you, we're at the sheetrock phase, right? And if we're at the sheetrock phase and we start covering this up, it's going to be way more difficult for these guys to go in through the attic to try to fix it versus them just doing it with the ladder from the bottom up to be able to fix that stuff. So those are little issues that we want to anticipate that may come up. It was an accident. The guys that were up there lifting these very heavy sheets of sheetrock to put it up there misstepped, and they accidentally stepped on this thing here, and now it needs to be repaired. Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to point out to you guys here. So actually the sheetrock guy was the one who pointed this out to me, and it makes perfect sense. I don't know why I didn't see it, but of course, you don't have to know this stuff. Someone's going to help you kind of come along with this and help out. So if you notice here, there's a lip here. This is for the firewall between the two units. This lip, you can potentially, there's no room for the sheetrock. So the sheetrock is going to be coming and is going to be attaching right here, right? You're going to put a piece of sheetrock, and then you have a spot right here for the sheetrock to be attached, right? All these spots. But then there's nowhere for it to attach when it comes near the wall. And so what happens over the course of time, if that doesn't get addressed, the sheetrock will start to basically droop because of the weight of it. and then you're going to tape and float, it's going to crack, and that piece of sheetrock is going to start, becoming a problem. So the guy's like, dude, it's a simple solution. We just need some 2x4s. If you can bring me some 2x4s, I can fix it. I just wanted to let you know that we need some more material. So now we're pretty much done. We had a few leftover 2x4s there, and I just brought them over to him. There's some leftover treated ones. They're the same thing. I'm not going to go buy, anything else because it's pointless, right? And so I'm just pointing out the same thing. It's a very thin lip that you can see, like there's nowhere to attach the sheetrock once you get to that point. So it was a good thing that he pointed it out to me, and I just, we had some hanging around at another job site. I just took them over to him, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Let's see what else we got here. I also called the plumber. Again, guys, in the interest of transparency, I called the plumber. I want to show you guys this stuff happens. It's not a big deal. But whenever this guy was putting in this duct here for the dryer vent, he had to move this pipe over, and in moving it, he had to disconnect it. And you see how that nail is just kind of hanging out there? Now, this is an overflow pipe. So the water heater, in case it blows up, you don't want the water to be pouring down in the attic of the bathroom, which is where it's going to be located. It's going to be right above the bathroom. So in order to prevent that, we have to have an overfill water line that goes out of the house, and that's what these two are for. And so now those need to be fixed. Let's see here. All right, now the sheetrock got delivered. Home Depot is always on point here in Texas. These are the meter loop inspection things that I was, not inspections, but these are the meter loops that I was telling you guys that need to be inspected. See how there's 2 boxes here. The city will come out. I'm sorry, the electric company will come out and inspect these things to ensure that they're up to what they want it to be. And so that is an inspectionable item too. This stuff costs a little bit of money, this particular type of wire. So there's a little bit of an extra charge there for that. And then basically we have all of our sheetrock delivered. Now on sheetrock delivery day, I highly encourage you guys to have someone there, because what happens is we have 2 units, right? And this particular unit is, front to back. So it was nice to have someone there so that on the forklift, instead of them putting it all on one side, they were able to split it, right? Basically what we have here is 3 pallets of sheetrock, 3 going to be here and 3 on the other side. Now these guys are putting all the sheetrock inside, super, super heavy. These are 12-foot pieces of sheetrock, and the way they come is in pairs of 2. They're already taped together. Those 2 obviously get separated and put on the walls, but they're super, super heavy. We go with rounded corners on all of our walls, and we do that just for aesthetic purposes. But this is what it looks like whenever these guys put it up. And if you notice here, there's an offset. So you see that little bit of an offset, and the reason for that is so that the rounded corner things that they put on here gives it that look as we're coming along. Now, if it was a square corner, we wanted to do a square corner, this piece of sheetrock would come all the way out this way and just be flush with the other one, so that way it just has a solid corner on which it can be, drilled or screwed on. And I'll show you guys those whenever we get to that point. So these guys normally start from the top down for hanging the sheetrock, and that's basically kind of where we're at with this point. And so we're just going to get the sheetrock all hung. We're going to get the tape and float done. That's going to take a few days, and then we have the texture. Now you can find one company that does the entire thing, or what we do is we select a couple pair of guys that do the hanging. It's a very, very laborious, very difficult job to do. And then we have other people that do the tape and float, and then we have yet another 3rd team that does the texture. And the reason we do it like that is because the guys, and I don't want to call them nug coal draggers, but the guys that hang the sheetrock are just brute force physical effort to try to get this stuff done. And it does take, it is a little bit of an art and a science, a little art to like doing the texture right and doing the tape and floating right so that this stuff doesn't come apart later. So that's the reason why we do it that way. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll update you as we go along. I'll talk to you soon.